Hey everybody, it's Chris and Cassie. We are back with Sunday Chronicles. This is episode 31, and it is entitled, Is Your Soul for Sale?
Is your soul for sale, dear?
And so I really like this topic. I'm really excited to talk about it. Chris and I just kind of talked about the main idea of what we're discussing today, but I was wondering where you get these ideas, Chris, just because we've done a lot lately, and I don't know, I really like this idea, so I was just curious
This idea,
where your thoughts come from about what you want to talk about.
yeah, this idea came to me Christmas morning, and I've been getting a lot of ideas from dreams. It's, you and I talk about this a lot, but I'll wake up in the middle of the night and say, hey, remember this and this, and then we'll talk about it the next day. It turns into an actual show. So this was
I would say, wouldn't you say that you feel very compelled to talk about these things just because it's something that comes to you at the most random times that it needs to be talked about, or it should be, or something that you need to kind of process?
Yeah. I think it's something that it's an understanding, and we talk about questions and understandings in consciousness, and then just the opposite of that, you've got your knowledge or your book smarts, which is memorization of history and things and all the other stuff. So this for me has become quite fascinating, as Spock would say, but I get all of these ideas are through meditations or sleep, and particularly this one was Christmas morning, and it just kept replaying over and over and over in my head. And normally when I get down to the funnel of an understanding, and this is an actual understanding of an understanding, and I'll explain that in a minute.
I like that.
But anyways, that's kind of how it goes down.
No, and what I think is so interesting about almost every topic, like you just said, this tonight's topic is a perfect example, but we thought, hey, let's talk about this. It's something that's popped up in your head or my head, mostly your head, and then something else will happen during the day that actually fits perfectly to what we're going to be talking about. So it's just kind of magically
and
happened,
we totally
just by observing
live our lives, and this is our business, and we're doing our business as with that particular dance. We're doing the dance with the universe. We don't force it, and we both knew last night that last night wouldn't have been the best time to do it, and then
I was passed out.
Yeah.
So tired.
And then we just whatever, and then do it today, and then this day gave us a physical reference of basically what we are talking about this evening.
So anyway,
but the thing, cool. The thing that kept replaying in my head, and I'm going to say this a couple of times because we always talk about seeking the external for happiness and joy, and instead of going within and finding it that way. And that was with the addiction, when we talked about addiction. And what I'm going to do is carry it a little further and making an understanding of an understanding. If we encourage everybody to go back and watch all of our episodes. I know we have a lot of them, but they all are interconnected, and it'll make sense. So this is what was going through my head Christmas morning, and
what was going through your head Christmas morning was seeking externally.
Apparently this was kind of a gift. It was like, okay, you're ready for this, and this is an understanding of an understanding. So we always say about seeking externally for fun, happiness, joy, those things. And this is for moving further. Relying on an external stimuli to generate your happiness or joy is also giving that stimuli the power to destroy you. So we always talk about happy and joy and all these things, but relying on an external stimuli to generate your happiness and joy is also giving that stimuli the power to destroy you. And I was like, holy shit, there's always the yin and yang, are you ready to be destroyed?
And you said like that goes along with the addiction too, because the external stimuli that you're relying on is killing you or hurting you or whatever.
Today, one of the biggest, back in the 90s, it was the cocaine and heroin, that speedball thing, and it killed a lot of beautiful people. Today, it's pills and alcohol. That's the thing. You can get pills anywhere from anybody. Just go tell them you need pills and they'll give you pills.
What's some other examples? I just love this quote or this what you just said.
Yeah.
So
and
it's not just addiction. I think that's the most literal sense
what
of
is
destroying.
A stimuli?
Yeah.
It could be a person. It could be money. I thought about this today. How, imagine getting everything that you've ever wanted and still fucking complaining about it. And there are prime examples all across the world. It's not enough. It's not enough. Bob Marley says money is numbers. And if you're seeking happiness and that...
Numbers never end.
Numbers never end. And what he's saying is a beautiful way to say, you're never going to find happiness that route, and that's seeking externally. But by giving your power away, I wanted to discuss the dark side of that. And
so, however, though, even though you're, in the end, though, even though the external stimuli, for example, getting everything you ever wanted, and still complaining, you're destroying yourself.
Yeah, you're always...
It's not necessarily someone doing something to like them.
Yeah.
It's you in turn just destroying yourself by being ungrateful or being...
You're either allowing it or you're doing it.
Yeah.
And that brings up another good topic about giving your power to another individual. We talked about manipulation a lot. We talked about, when another individual is aware of how weak you are in that particular part of your life, there are people out there that will take advantage of you every moment of your life and do it forever.
And I think on a different scale, just
as long as you allow it.
Yeah. And you can look at the same way with like advertising and things like that. The way this matrix is ran, the system, it's all based on exploiting weaknesses to get you to be controlled.
To feel like you need it.
That you need these. Yeah, and I think that's kind of part of the same allowing it.
That's a great question to ask yourself. What is keeping me in the matrix? What is keeping me in supporting this external seeking for happiness? Because that is the ultimate question.
That's the design of the matrix, to keep you looking externally. I think that's...
And the most fascinating thing about this whole thing is you aren't even aware that you're in it. No one is aware that they're in it until something happens, and it's that I don't like it anymore, and that we talk about that all the time. It's like, what else is there? But that comes with you wanting to do it. Some people are so fucking wrapped up in it, they're never going to break free from it. It's hard for me to see that, but stranger things do happen. Also, I think you have just the flip side of that, to where being dependent upon somebody.
You see that a lot. I've seen that a lot in my life around me.
Just being
codependent.
So fucking codependent on someone. That annoys me. I'm sorry, but it annoys me, and I won't allow it. And so I'll put that back on them till they depend on themselves. But
you see it all the time on social media, I think. That's where I've seen it a lot.
Yeah.
It's, people's whole life story, with a relationship, for example.
Yeah.
Or it's kind of just that codependency.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know, if that's what you like, then cool.
But it's just something to be aware of that I think I've observed. I thought it was interesting to.
Yeah. And a really fascinating.
Because that's depending on external.
You're depending on someone else for your happiness, and that's a very important. What if that person leaves?
Yeah, you see, I
crushed.
Think we've all either experienced that or seen others experience that, and yeah, that's. But it's part of your journey.
Yeah, but
you have to realize that depending on external
we talk about these things and make questions about these things. So if anyone does watch it, the question will be repeated until you find your own understanding. And that's in a nutshell why we do what we do. Cassie, what if someone like me that understood this blatantly took advantage of a person and or a group of people? How many ways could I do that?
You could become the president or a dictator of a country.
Yeah. I could become the president or dictator of a country.
That's a large scale version, but there's many others.
You know what else I could do? I could tell people that if you follow this doctrine after you die, you're going to go to a really, really, really cool place. Yeah. But if you don't, you're going to go to a really, really bad place. And everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I've seen that my whole life, and you know, we all start there at the source. We come here, some of us figure it out, go back to the source and get to experience that here on the planet. Some don't. That reward of heaven or hell is lived here. And you'll find that out. You'll find that out. And if you're of the indoctrination of a dictator or that sort of religion, then you're living in the hell version of what, or the opposite version of what could be.
And I think your journey from head to heart is purgatory.
Yeah. That is that middle ground. That
middle ground where you're being pulled, but you're being drawn back, you know, and it's all of that. But I kind of want to jump back. Another thing of people manipulating, like we were just talking about, is not from such a grand scale of a dictator, things like that, but it's in social groups, you know, like you know, you see that all the time. Someone who tries to kind of push their way to the top in a social group, like even just a group of friends. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Your squad. And we talked about that. Yeah, your squad quite a bit, and all those type of things.
Can you think of anything else offhand?
I don't know. This is just can go so much. There's so much to go into with seeking externally in belief systems, and I thought that was really a great observation. What you just said. I mean,
I think that it's so unfamiliar to me that someone can blindly accept a belief system without questioning it, and live their whole lives out that way, and
hate others because of it, possibly, or hate themselves because of it.
Yeah. And it's a confusion, and you end up battling with yourself, or let's hope you do.
Which it seems like, at the same time, I kind of think just from you saying that, it's almost like, well, is that just part of the journey? Is struggling, being thrown into this indoctrinated belief system. Yeah. But in order to realize that you're not fitting in, or this is not feeling right, you have to struggle, and you have to have
both sides.
So it's kind of like, well, it's set up as part of the struggle, I think.
That's why all of the greats say respect the purpose of Earth. Yeah. Respect the purpose of Earth. It's everything going on that makes it seem imperfect. It's not. You wouldn't, and that's what kind of, when you step back and start to observe it, you kind of let go of all of the chaos, and you can start to observe the chaos, which in your thoughts, those 50 to 70,000 pop thoughts that you step back and start to observe, it's the same thing here. When you step back to start to observe the world for what it is and not be a part of it, that's your purgatory path to your heart. And once you're able to silence those 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day and just simply consciously think with a clear head, that's the equivalent of it in
heaven, because
yeah,
the divine is flowing through you. I mean, you're the universe. You're
you can't
part
hear
of
it. You can't hear it if this is crazy.
Exactly. You can't.
Yeah.
You gotta have a clear mind.
Yeah, you gotta clear that. You gotta do a lot of soul searching, soul cleansing, letting go. Those are a lot of things that go. Because you can't. Your intuition's gonna be very, very hard to hear, and maybe it's not. I don't know, but it's gonna be hard to hear all of that if you've got a lot of commotion ongoing here. And if you're involved in the commotion going here, and you can see somebody that's very religious or very political, those are my two topics.
Grabbing onto belief systems.
Those are my two topics I talk
labels.
about all the time because they're the fucking problem. And that's my opinion, but if you step back and observe it, that those two things are what is kind of jacking everybody up. So until it's silenced, I'm going to continue to talk. But this is let's see here.
I just feel about. I think something before we wrap up is just that whole idea that we kind of talked about in the beginning of understanding. It's all about understandings.
Yeah.
It's not. I think that is just something really cool to think about.
It's consciousness isn't who's the best. It's your own gig. It's your own story. It's your. I always say to inspire others, tell your story. The person I was talking with today, I was like, do you have the capacity to kind of write a book? I think that, this is my opinion, you could help a lot of people in your same situation. She's like, hell yeah. I thought that was a really, really cool thing. But other than that, what's happening?
I guess they're getting reactions. I don't know.
Wow.
Because we're not used to that, no. But it just seems there's actually a lot more people watching today, which is cool. So I love this topic. I think it's something that really wraps up the last 31 episodes. Seeking
it's like fireworks.
I know, it's like
cool. Thank you, everybody.
But yeah, this really wraps up the last 31 episodes, seeking externally, and I just think...
And kind of goes forward a little bit, and we'll continue to...
I would say, if you want to just wrap up, just say it one more time, that we're relying on external stimuli observation, and then we're going to say bye.
Yeah, so this whole thing started with, this was my thought, relying on an external stimuli to generate your happiness and your joy also gives that power to the stimuli to destroy you. And I think that if you can look at
Observe yourself.
Next time you're looking at something and going, that's going to fulfill my happiness and make me happy, think about the flip side to it. I think that's the only thing. So other than that,
thank you as always. I'm sure we'll be back very soon, and have a wonderful evening.
Cool.